We are focusing on surfing, specifically front surfing and catching waves on the fly, as well as catching them from the eddy. Here I want you to notice that I have an angle. I'm ferrying onto the wave. I'm off to the side and I ferry onto the wave and then straighten up, paddle hard here to catch the wave. All right, so when you're catching a wave on the fly, you don't just get up in front of it and paddle straight up. You actually need to be off to the side and ferry onto it. Let's watch that again. So here I am coming in from surfer's left with angle, a ferry angle. And right here I start to straighten up and I paddle hard, right? And then I start using my edges and my pry to surf the wave, right? To carve across it, and I'm looking. So here's another example of this. So I'm ferrying in, I straighten up, hit the foam pile, and start surfing. Okay, so when you're catching things on the fly, don't just point straight upstream and try and paddle. You got to start from the side, up above, and ferry into the wave and then straighten up. And here I'm using my edges and my pries, and I'm looking around the wave to note where am I on the wave. Am I more left? Am I more right? Am I in the middle? Right? And I'm using that pry along with an edge to carve. So here I am coming in from the eddy onto the wave, and I'm looking for the depression, right? So I'm sticking my bow in there, but also paddling up until my butt is in that trough. Now I know that I'm on the wave, I'm gonna get traction. And I keep paddling, okay, lean a little forward. And then I start using my edges. So here I stick my left blade in because I'm accelerating towards the right. I've got to stop myself so that I can then switch edges and turn back towards surfer's left. Same thing here. I want to slow myself down, so I pry with my right to stop my speed, and that allows me to then lift my left edge and cut back across the wave. And that is front surfing. It's using your pry as a brake, but not too much of one, to give you stability to then switch edges. So here's a really kind of fast moving wave. And look how fast I have to brake and switch edges back and forth. Right? The water's moving fast. Right? And then there's some times when I can just stay. Right? When my bow starts to purl, I edge. When your bow starts to purl, you edge. That's how you stay on a wave. Right? You move back and forth, cutting back and forth. Okay, so here's a slower wave, and I also slowed it down. Okay, so I'm sitting flat right now, and then I drop my left edge, and I start cutting across the face, so then I need to plant my right pry to slow myself down so that I can edge back towards the right. And here, again, my bow is bearing, so then I engage edge. Right, I use my left pry here to slow myself down because I engaged my right edge. And if I go too far without breaking my speed, I'm going to surf right off the wave. So then I turn, right, a little bit of left edge. I'm using my right pry to slow myself down across the face. Okay? Okay, so to recap, when you are catching a wave on the fly, if this is the wave, you don't just get in front of it and try and paddle upstream. You're not going to gain enough momentum upstream. You've got to start out in front, off to the side, and ferry on. And then when you're there, then you straighten up and you paddle. Okay? When you're coming at it from the eddy, okay, and you're looking for the little depression in the eddy line, and you're getting your bow in there and then past it. So you want to be able to slide in. You want to slide your butt into that trough to slide across, okay? And that's the key, right? So that's catching waves, and then you straighten up. Once you're on the wave, if you just sit straight, try and sit straight and flat, your bow is going to bury. The key to front surfing is to be able to carve back and forth across the wave. Okay, but if you just set an edge and go, you're going to gain too much momentum and you're going to surf yourself right off the wave. So that's where the pry comes in. The pry is used to slow yourself down, so that, and as kind of a brace, it's not a brace, it's more of a steadying, so that then you can switch and then cut back, and then you plant another pry. So a skill that's really important to be able to do is to have your edge lifted and be able to pry. So it's not here, it's not leaning back and you see people sticking their blades in. No, you're sitting up straight, you've got your edge lifted and you're rotated, planting that pry and pushing away. And that is going to slow your speed and also give you enough stability to then you lift that pry out and you switch. So you got to be able to then switch edges, and then you start going across, and when you notice that it's too much, you set your pry. So again, it's twist, set the pry, slow down, and then so your edge to edge transition. And you know what the most basic way to practice edge to edge transition is in eddy turns and S turns, which we've covered. So hopefully I'm showing you how all the skills build on each other. That's why those basic skills are so important. And one thing I haven't talked about yet is sitting even in flat water with your edge up. So weighting the butt cheek and then engaging the side body here, engaging that quadratus lumborum right here that hikes the hip, and just sitting, thinking about almost having a C here, so that the hip is hiked and you're on your edge, but you're also still sitting up straight, so you're not leaning over.